Om Gurave Namah. Om Harimarkataya Swaha. So today we are going to start a series on Grahas results in various Rashis. Okay, what are the results of planets in various signs? This is one of the basics of astrology, and once you understand these things, it helps you to make interpretations. Your interpretation while doing predictions is very strong. Okay. uh, Otherwise you may know methods but you may not be able to give the meaning to the method. Okay, so it's very important to understand grahas and rashis. um, we'll start obviously with sun, as sun is the most important planet. It is the first planet in numerology. Sun is given the number one. Sun is the first weekday. It is the first hora of the first week. That is why it is the first weekday also. Okay. uh, So we will be starting with Sun and we will be starting with Aries, because Aries is the start of the Kala Purusha. It is the head of the Kala Purusha. And also Sun is exalted in Aries. So hence we start with Sun in Aries. Okay, so these are the reasons, right? It's important to know the reasons. It's not just, just like that we are starting from somewhere. So there are various um, classical texts. Okay, see, today I see many people giving reasons, and you have a lot of modern books which are giving, the results of various planets in various signs. I don't know where they exactly pick it from. Obviously, they would have read some of these things and then interpreted in their own way. But I am, I would like to actually quote those classics themselves so that you can make your own, you can have your own thought process, because these words can mean a whole lot of things. Okay. Um, Maharishi Parashara, who is the one of the most important Maharishis who has written on Jyotish, who has given us the knowledge of Jyotish, has not really talked a lot about planets in science. So we got to go to other classical authors. They are not rishis, but they are acharyas of Jyotish, and they are very well respected. And you know, down the line in the disciplinic succession, one by one, parampara, we have depended on these interpretations. Okay, though one has to understand the words. When I first myself uh, tried to understand early on, I would get automatically very confused, and because one thing I found was most of these results were very superlative or exaggerated, and I could not really understand why is it so. Okay, there's a way in which one has to understand these things. There's a subtle thing they are trying to say. Okay, and we'll try to I'll try to convey that during this presentation. So we're going to talk about Sun in Aries, and one of the very important classics which I'm quoting from is Horaratnam, very excellent book. And Horaratnam himself is quoting from a great acharya known as Vriddha Yavanacharya. And Horaratnam is basically sort of an encyclopedic approach to Jyotish, where he is basically taking a lot of quotations from different um, authors. And he's taken from Saravali, he's taken from Brihad Jataka, so on and so forth. So many different authors, and there's nothing wrong in it. Okay. Horatnam was written sometime in the medieval era, maybe around 14th or 15th century. Its author was Balabhadra Mishra, and he belonged to Odisha. Okay. So for Sun in Aries, the result is saying Mesho Gatarka, which means Sun in Aries, Samara Prachanda. I have given this is the Sanskrit and this is the English of those same results. I have not given the shloka here. I've just split it into the various results or epithets which have been given for the planet in a particular sign. So Samara Prachandam, Naram Prasute Dhanavirya Yuktam, Shastrat Vak Karmasu, Labda Shabdam, Jayeshinam, Sadhitam, Uchchavrittam. Okay, so the first result is Samara Prachanda. Samara means war, battle, and Prachanda means someone who is very strong, fierce, who is, the image which comes to your mind is a fearsome warrior. Okay, kind of Bahubali in war. Okay, so if you go to the film Bahubali and remember how he acted in that in the battle scenes. That is what you should remember in this. Okay, that's the image. It's important to have this image coming in your mind. See, Aries is the sign of Mars, and Mars is the Devasenapati. Even in Western astrology, in Greek astrology, and all that, Mars is considered as the god of war. Okay, uh, Mars exalts in Capricorn, which is considered the graveyard. Why does he exalt in the graveyard? Because the graveyard is full of dead bodies. War is about death. It is sending a lot of people to Yamaloka. So, when we talk of Aries and Mars, we're talking about battle, war, fight, struggle, and all that. So, the first word itself is saying Samara Prachanda. Okay, so this is basically indicating Mars and fighting ability. So one of the first things is, okay, when a planet is in a particular sign, obviously it will give some of the results of that particular planet which is lording that sign. Okay, and Mars is lording that sign, and not just that. See, Mars has two signs. One is Aries, one is Scorpio. And Aries is considered as a Mula Trikona, or Mula Trikona is basically the work or the office of Mars. It is the work. What is Mars's work? Mars's work is fighting. Okay, so Aries is specifically about fighting. Okay, so and another thing is Sun and Mars are friendly planets. So Sun is not going to oppose the agenda of Mars. If it is Venus in Aries, you can't really say Samara Prachanda over there. I mean, you may still be put in a battle situations, but you may not really succeed over there because Venus doesn't won't want to fight. Moon won't want to fight. Jupiter certainly won't want to fight. Okay, but Sun is same like Mars. It's an Agni planet. Okay, and they are friendly to each other. And Sun is exalted. We will come to the exaltation results, but he's exalted, so he is very much in sync with the agenda of Mars. Okay, so Samara Prachanda. Okay, see how long we can talk about one result. Dhana Virya Yukta. Now, question is, Dhana Bhava is the second house. Okay, why are we talking about Sun in Aries? Aries is the natural first sign. Natural first sign. First sign, how can we say is linked to Dhana? Hmm? Virya, one can definitely understand. Virya, heroism. One has to be very strong and aggressive in battles. So that is what one can see. The word is Virya is also the word is puissance. Uh, what is see Virya is also the another meaning of Virya is the semen. Okay, the male semen. And what does it indicate? Indicates the virility, the masculinity, the basically that gives the strength. That virya gives you the strength, even physical strength. Okay, many times boxers and even people who are in competitive sports like cricket and all that, many times they would be having a very important match or a bout the next day. Okay, and they may have their wives with them, but they will not want to have an intercourse with them because they are trying to conserve their virya. Okay, so there is the import that is important of virya in terms of physical strength in terms of battle, because next day they have to fight and they have to use that energy in fighting. Okay, they don't want to dispense of that energy in some other manner. Now, coming to dhana, you see, dhana, one has to understand, is not necessarily a monetary wealth sitting inside the bank. Okay, you may ask, what is dhanam for a tiger or a deer? For a tiger, the meat of a deer is a dhanam because it is eating it, right? For you take a deer and let it roam about in a very free grassland, it will be most happy. It is seeing dhanam everywhere, right? So the word dhanam is very, very, it has different meaning. For a warrior, what could be the dhanam? Right? A warrior, what could be the dhanam? The ability to display one's heroic abilities, heroic nature. Hmm? And where does that happen? It happens in war. He has a lot of people to kill, literally, right? So dhana, the word dhanam has to be understood not just as a monetary wealth, but also in terms of what is it that you are consuming, that is you're enjoying. So here, this person is definitely enjoying, being in battles, being in those kind of positions, and then getting wealth because of that. See, in wars and all that, in those days, it was very bad. People used to loot the dead soldiers. If you're a soldier and you killed someone else, you would take money from over there. So there was Zanam in a sense over there. It was a looted wealth, and and these people actually used to enjoy looting those wealth also. Okay. Shastrartha va karmasu labdha shabdham. Shastrartha meaning someone who understands scriptures very well and can speak upon that, can put it into action. Karmasu can put it into action. Okay, and his deeds depict their learning of the Shastras. Now, this is a very different kind of result compared to the first couple of results. Why is it so? So here we have to understand that Sun is in Aries, right? But what is Sun's own sign? Sun's own sign is Leo. Leo happens to be the natural fifth house. It also happens to be fifth house from where Sun is placed. If Sun is in Aries, from the sign where it is placed, its own sign is the fifth house. So there is some result coming because of that. Okay, and fifth house is about learning, about one's level of knowledge about scriptures and all that. Mantra jnana comes from fifth house. Okay, without fifth house, we will not have deep learning, like a scholar, like a pandit. Okay, and that is coming in your actions, in your deeds, obviously, right? So that is what we mean by Shastra. Labda Shabda meaning he gains reputation, he has reputation. Why does he have reputation? Because of that. I mean, you may be a scholar, but why will you gain reputation for being scholarly? Because it is exalted, right? People can see it, people can know it. It is shining high up in the sky. That is what is exaltation. So you gain a reputation because of that. Hmm? Jayeshinam, ever victorious and successful, it is very similar to the previous thing. And obviously, because it is, see, a planet is defeated if it's in an inimical sign. If it's in a friendly sign, see, this is not just exaltation sign, but it also is a friendly sign. Not every planet gets exalted in a friendly sign. Hmm? Say Venus and Jupiter, right? They are not exactly friendly to each other, right? So Venus get exalted in the sign of Jupiter, that is in Pisces. Hmm? But here there is an exaltation also, and that exaltation brings that ability to be victorious, and being in a friendly sign gives that ability to be victorious. Sadhitam Uच्च Vrittam. Uच्च Vrittam. Vritta meaning like what we call the samskar, the deep seated tendencies that we have, and that we learn from the family, from our upbringing. This is something related to your upbringing, what kind of family you have been brought up with. So he possesses not just a great character, okay, but he belongs to a family of a very noble family which has great character. Okay, already you may start feeling that we can think of someone like that. Okay, we'll come to that. We'll come to that at the end of this presentation. Okay, so this is about Hora Ratnam. Now I will share with you another classical book. Okay, this is Saravali. Okay, this was also written in the medieval times. Okay, uh, and this gives a lot of more results. Okay, and we will go through that. A lot of them are similar to the previous one. The first itself is Shastrartha, same word as the previous, in Horaratna's case, the same word Shastrartha is being used over there. Kriti, Kalabhihi, Khyato. So Khyato, so like Labda Shabdam, Khyato, you have reputation, you are reputed for your Shastrartha, your ability, your understanding of scriptures, your knowledge, your deep level of knowledge, Kalabhi, even your arts. Okay, fifth house is also important from an artistry perspective because it's Agni Rashi, natural fifth house, and you require Agni to to visualize forms. Okay, Yuddha Priya, I don't have to explain that. Prachanda, and in fact, I have put here Sahasa Karmabhirata, which comes a little bit later. I have sort of combined it so that you can, I don't have to write it again separately. It means the same thing, that you like battle, Yuddha Priya, you love being in battle, Prachanda, you're very fierce, fearsome. People feel awe and fear, majesty when they see you. Okay, especially in war, they feel that fear coming in. Sahasa karma bhiratah. I mean, okay, I'll come to this later. Sahasa meaning courage. Okay, and in karma bhirata, in your action, one can see that level of courage. Okay, and all this is because of um, Mars in Aries. By the way, Kala, Sun, we can also say Sun likes music, singing, instruments, and all that. So that also can be linked to over here, Kala bhi. Udyukto, dedicated to work. See, Sun is a very hard worker and very disciplined worker. Sun is amongst all the planets very regular, very disciplined. I mean, his motion is also very disciplined across the sky. When you see, it's like every day only 1 degree, 1 degree per day, 360 degrees per year. So you can always know, and that is why Sun is given the charge of the Bhuvaloka, because he is the one who can keep all the grahas in place and make them move, make them work hard. Okay, he's a hard taskmaster. He works hard himself and he makes other also work hard. Okay, Udyukto is very dedicated to his work. Brahmana Ruchi, Brahmana meaning roaming around. Okay, he loves roaming around. Right? Why does he love to roam around? Because Aries is a movable sign. Chara Rashi meaning move around. You like to move far off places. Okay. Drida asti bandaha. Asti means bones. Okay. Drida meaning someone who has very strong bones. Okay. Why are we talking of bones here? Because Maharishi Parashara very clearly states that sun rules bones. Okay. Sun rules bones, moon rules blood, Mars rules majja, which is the marrow inside the bones, and so on and so forth. Each of the this is called dhatu. Each of the planets rule various dhatus. Okay. So sun rules the bones. Okay. Shresthe Kanti Sattva Yuta. So he is excellent. He is having a kind of luster, Kanti. Kanti meaning luster, you're shining. Sattva. Sattva, you are very balanced and you're, you're very clear and calm in everything. Okay. And why? Because Sun is Sattvic planet. There are three planets which are Sattvic, Sun, Jupiter, and Moon. Okay. And this Sun is exalted. So it exalts high deal of Sattva Guna in the person. Pitta Srig Vyadi. Pitta means what is it's one of the three doshas, Ayurvedic doshas, Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. Okay, and Pitta is related to heat. Okay, uh, so it is in English it is called bile or bilious disorders. Okay, so Vyadhi meaning disorder, and Srig means blood. So the person is prone to having high deal of pitta or blood related disorders. Okay, and this is because Sun is a Agni planet, because Pitta is related to Agni. Okay, Kapha is related to Jala. Okay, and Vata is related to Vayu. So hence, since we are talking of an Agni Rashi, hence Pitta Srig Vyadhi, he can have, if the Sun is afflicted in some way, there is some malefic aspect, say Rahu is with it, etc. Then there is this kind of problems can come. Narendra, he is the king. Okay, so with this message of he's the king, we'll come to the real king, the king of the universe, and that is Sri Ram. Okay, in our tradition, we try to understand the principles of Jyotish by looking at the charts of avatars, and primarily it is Sri Ram and Sri Krishna. Okay, and Sun in Aries, I mean, the example of Sun in Aries, the most perfect example is Sri Ram. Okay, in the Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra, the Avatara Kathana Adhyaya is there, where each of the avatars is linked to particular planets. We have to understand them how do we understand them in horoscope? We see which planet's ray brought them to the earth. So it is the ray of the sun, particularly, which is brought the avatar of Sri Ram. Okay, so and his son exalted, and that planet has to be exalted in that particular avatar Jataka. Okay, so sun is exalted in Sri Rama's chart. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita, It's in chapter 10:31 where Bhagwan gives examples of various kinds of things. Okay, amongst Veda, I am Samaveda, so on and so forth. Amongst Siddhas, I am Kapila, and so on. Okay, so in each, what is the best example? And in that, he says, amongst Shastra Bhrittam, that is weapon wielders, basically warriors, amongst warriors, I am Ram. I am the best warrior. I mean, Rama is the best warrior, right? Uh, in Bhagavatam, he is one of the epithets used for him is Maharaja. That is why when the word Narendra came in the previous thing, I said, this is Sri Ram. He is the king, right? He is the example of how a king should be, right? How selfless he has to be, right? And all the previous results that you can see, uh, someone who is very strong and fearsome in battle. Okay, I mean, a person like Ravana. Okay, I mean, Ravana would not fear anyone, but when he faced Rama, I mean, and when Rama sort of destroyed his chhatra, his that you know the umbrella, the chhatra on the chariot, that really shook him apart. And Ravana then understood that his end is near. Okay, so he could inspire fear even in such a foe as Ravana. Okay, Udyukto is always, he's for the benefit of mankind. He's doing things. Okay, every action of his is for others. Okay, he's always working. He's an example of someone who's always at work, doing good for the others. Okay, Brahmana Ruchi I found very interesting. I mean, actually speaking, I think Rama was in a way happy to go into exile. Okay, he was like, okay, I'm happy to go into exile. I mean, I'll spend time. I mean, he has Jupiter and Moon in the Lagna. Okay, that too in a Chara Rashi also. He loves spending time with the Maharishis. And where can he find the Maharishis? In the forest, right? He met Bharadwaja. He met was, Agastya for sure, and he met a lot of rishis in the forest and had a lot of discussions with them. He loved it. Okay, so he was very happy to go into the forest and roam around. Okay, so all these things, Shastra, his level of understanding of knowledge in every situation, how he's bringing that out and explaining things to people. Okay, so every action and sadhita uccha vrittim, I mean, coming from such a noble family, Raghukula, and his own character shows that high level of vritti, high level of samskaras in him, which is an example for us even today. So with this, I end this explanation of Sun in Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.